I see potential within you.
G'day mate, welcome to Evil Genius 2 with me, JD. Today I want to show you some parts of my evil lair and talk to you about the 5 base resources you'll need to track in hopes that you can make your lair as evil as mine. So whilst the pesky investigators ride their speedboat into my base, I'll remind you, if you enjoy evil videos like this one and you want to see more tips and tricks on Evil Genius 2 to help you on your world domination, hit the subscribe button, like the video to help the evil algorithm actually do something it's meant to, and recommend it to other masterminds like yourself. So firstly, I want to talk about the most shiny item, the gold. So gold we're going to be bringing in from our different schemes we're performing on the map, and we're going to be storing that in our vault. Now our vault has a couple of storage options. One, the very first one we start off with, is gold pallets. Yes, because your evil mastermind was never terribly good at negotiating, they happen to cost 3,000 gold to store 2,000 gold. It's not a terribly good ratio, and it doesn't really improve from there. You do unlock, as you progress through the game, a second tier vault, which is a safe rack. Safe rack, as you can see right here, changes from a 2x2 tile, which does need room all the way out around the outside for minions to access, to a 1x4 tile. So it's the same amount of room, but the minions can all access it safely from one side. Now, these bad boys are going to set you back, first off, 20,000 gold to actually research safe racks, because, you know, again, you're paying for the research twice. On top of that, they are gonna cost you 6,000 gold to store 4,000 gold. Like I said, Evil Genius not so good at, you know, negotiating things either, or you're paying an awful lot for that hush-hush money and making sure that your evil lair is not, you know, talked about to the force of justice. Finally, there is a later upgrade that you will be able to access, being the mega safe. The mega safe is going to set you back a cool, sweet 160,000 just to research the mega safe. Once you've actually researched it and you get to build them, they're going to set you back $15,000 each, but they are going to store 10,000 gold for every single mega safe. On top of that, it's a 1x1 building, so much easier to cram in. You're going to be able to fit a lot more gold inside your vault. There is a catch. They're going to consume 5 power each, which brings us to our second thing that we need to track. Down here is our power. You are going to have to keep an eye on your power for the whole duration of the game. You do start off with the very, very basic generator. Okay, going to set you back $3,000. It's going to be able to produce 10 power. It sounds like a lot, but you'll find as your game progresses, as you level up, as you build more and more interesting and exotic traps like laser walls and so on and so forth, you're going to need more and more power to run your base. So you do get an upgrade to that. That is the nuclear generator. Nuclear generator has 2 advantages. One, it pumps out twice the amount of power, 20,000 at 20 power. It does cost you about 3 times as much, being $10,000. Footprint-wise, it's actually a much better footprint. As you can see, if I pop one over the top of the other, it only takes a couple of extra tiles, but, you know, does provide twice the amount of power. But it is also a tier 2 research. So again, it's going to cost you 20,000 gold to research. I should actually mention the capacitor. The capacitor, which provides 2 power. The idea of a capacitor is they are going to keep the lights on should something happen to your power station, like, you know, a random saboteur happens to throw some dynamite in there or something like that. Now, in my testing, and I will say this is very limited testing, unfortunately, Evil Genius 2 doesn't really provide a lot of details on stats. It seems every single capacitor you have in your base, irrespective of how much power you're producing or how much power you're negative at the time, each single capacitor seems to provide 12 seconds worth of power. So if you were to build a capacitor room with a significant amount of capacitors, hopefully you can put out any fires, kill any agents, you know, do any repairs. On top of that, there is a later power item that you actually do get to unlock. It is going to set you back a cool 80,000 gold, and it is going to be the fusion generator. Unlike the nuclear power plant, which had a pretty little glow late at night when you left, when the lights went out. Yeah, sort of like a nightlight. The fusion generator, it is going to set you back twice the amount. So rather than being $10,000 that the nuclear generator is, it's going to be $20,000. But it is also going to provide twice the amount of power. So as we can see, this is 10,000 for 20 power. The fusion generator, as I said, is 20,000 gold for 40 power. So a lot more power. And also, it's a 5x6. So again, slightly different footprint, but you can cram a lot more of them into the same room. Third item we're going to have to keep track of is the ones walking around your base everywhere. They are the minions. Minions, there is a game cap of 300 minions. Now, how do you get your minions upgraded? And, well, how do you get the minion cap upgraded? Well, the easiest answer for that is lockers. Now, lockers the minions don't technically use. They sort of access them every now and then when they're idle, but apart from that, as you can see, with 185 minions wandering around my base, none of them are over here playing with the lockers. So lockers are under the barracks tab, and these guys cost $2,000 to upgrade or increase your minion cap by 3. So it's not a lot of an increase, and you are going to have to invest significant gold into making lockers, but because they're boring, you can put them anywhere in your base. In fact, in my case, my entrance is all the way over here, and they're pretty much at the far corner of my base because nobody cares about them ever. In fact, yeah, nobody ever comes over here, basically. Now, there is an upgrade to the lockers. There is in the research. Right there is the compact lockers. From memory, these are 5 tiles by 2 tiles. And they're going to actually store 20. They're going to increase your cap by 20 each. So as you progress through the game, you can upgrade to the compact lockers, which you'll find will probably halve the amount of room that you are already required for your just your locker room, basically. I don't actually build this as part of my barracks. As you can see, I build this entirely separate. Now, your minion cap of 300 total, if we look at your minions, that is 300 total. So that is 300 workers, muscle, deception, and science. It is 300 total. Now, minions, they're a fairly cheap resource as long as you don't pay for them. So every minute, you're going to automatically hire 3 extra minions. These are 3 minions that came from the world map that are happy to work for you for nothing, because when they're the minion status, you don't pay them. You only pay them after you start training them up, and once you start training them up, they are going to cost you some amount of money to keep up and running. So workers themselves absolutely cost nothing, but you get 3 every minute. So as this ticks over, we should go from 189 up to, what, 192? 191. Okay, one must have died off. On top of that, you can choose to spend $10,000 to get 5 minions. Okay, so that is something you can keep in mind, that for every 10 grand, you can swap that out and get 5 extra minions, which is going to bring us to our third thing, being your broadcast strength and your intel. So your broadcast strength and your intel are actually produced in your control room. So we have our very first item here, the radio repeater. The radio repeater is going to increase your broadcast strength. So this number here, it is an important number that you're going to have to keep track of, because this influences how many criminal networks you can run on the map. Both, you know, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and even tier 4. There are multiple tiers to the criminal networks. Each one is going to require more and more and more broadcast strength. So we start off with the basic one, a radio repeater, costing 3 grand, using 5 power, outputting one broadcast strength, which is still a really weird name for it. So 1 broadcast strength. Now, there is a couple of upgrades for this one as well. If we go over to global operations, we have that one. Nope. that one, the advanced radio repeater. Now, it is a tier 3 research, so you're not going to be able to access that one for quite some time. It is going to set you back a sweet 40,000 gold, so not exactly cheap, and that's just to research. After you've researched it, you can then start popping these things down. Now, they are, compared to the original, they're going to cost you $10,000 rather than $3,000. They are going to also consume 12 power. So remember back to my power statement, how you're going to need a significant power plant. This is one of the contributors. On top of that, it's going to provide you a massive broadcast strength of 2. Yeah. It also changes the footprint. It's now a 3x3 building compared to these guys, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2. So it's a slightly different footprint, and it's going to lead to some major changes in your control room when you upgrade to the advanced radio repeater. Now, there is another further upgrade, but it sort of combines this building along with the computer console. So the computer console provides your intel. It's one of the sources of intel. You can also get intel, obviously, by interrogating agents. And the intel is going to be required for your schemes on the world map, along with, after you upgrade a criminal network to tier 2, they're all going to start requiring intel. So it's something you need to keep in mind. Your basic computer console outputs some amount of intel. The game is not very explicit with how much intel it's going to provide with a minion working at the table. There is, again, an advanced computer array. The advanced computer array is going to set you back, rather than 1,500 and 2 power, it's going to set you back $5,000 and 10 power. So again, that power plant is going to need a significant upgrade. When you get that upgrade in and you start pumping down computer arrays, the other big advantage is these guys only have 1 minion that can access them at a single time. The bigger and better computer arrays can actually have 3 minions working on them at once. So I think the big advantage is you can remove a whole bunch of these basic computers you have and then upgrade them to, the more advanced and better, the more advanced ones. On top of that, as you can see, you can set these up so only scientists can work at them, which, gives you something for your scientists to do. Also means I have a lot of scientists standing around doing nothing. Also, I believe the scientists are more efficient at actually making intel for you. So the last upgrade there is actually this one here. It is the holographic globe. So the holographic globe provides both intel and broadcast strength. Okay, so it's like a jack of all trades. There is a catch to that. The holographic globe is a 5x5 item, so it takes up a significant amount of room. On top of that, not only does it cost 1,600 gold to actually do the research, and it's tier 4, you're not going to get this till very, very late game, but it's also going to set you back 25,000 gold for every single holographic globe you build, and it's going to use 30 power. So, not cheap on the power front. And as for your broadcast strength, it's still going to provide 2. It doesn't provide any extra, but it does have the advantage of minions can use the one building to both generate broadcast strength and also generate intel for your schemes. So going out to the world map, the global operations, as I said, for your tier 1, so your very, very basic criminal networks, you just need to throw minions at the problem. For your upgraded ones, your tier 2, you'll find, well, first off, to upgrade to tier 2, you're going to find you're going to need more broadcast strength, and you're going to also part with some intel, along with a couple of specialized minions. Finally, as said, when you start running your bigger and better schemes, you're going to find that you start, every single scheme starts costing intel. So you are going to end up spending intel for every single scheme you run, which means you're going to have to start generating intel either through the computer console, the computer array, or eventually the holographic globe. And yeah, every single one of these is going to start consuming more and more intel. Also, on top of that, you're going to need intel to remove heat as well. So, you have been warned. And again, after you have the research, you're going to need more intel to upgrade your criminal network to a tier 3. So finally, that brings us to the fifth item I need to talk about, the fifth resource you're going to have to keep track of, which is free space. Because, believe it or not, you have a decent amount of space to start with, but you're going to find as the game progresses, you're going to have a larger power plant and a larger control room and a larger training room and all those sorts of things, and you're going to find you start becoming somewhat limited in space. So there's a couple of options when it comes to digging out some more space. Again, if we go over the research, we look at the Lair tab. Originally, you can just dig through the absolute softest of rock, the most boring of things. So we can bring up this and actually let's put some rock back. So you start off with the absolute basic rock, okay? The easiest stuff you can dig through. And if we try and dig into that, that is going to cost us $0. $0 to dig into that. Very, very, very cheap to dig into your first layer of rock. Then your second layer of rock is going to set you back actually 250 gold. So as you upgrade revert, as you upgrade through the tech tree, so you first unlock soft rock, it's going to set you back 10 grand. You can then dig through that very first early layers. Early layers access a little bit more of the map. Then you're going to be able to dig through hard rock. Hard rock is a tier 3 research. It's not going to happen for a significant way into the game. And as you can see, that one's going to cost you 40,000. And then finally, late game, you're going to be able to dig through heavy rock, which is going to cost you 160,000 gold. So not cheap at all. But when we're digging through our layers, we can, we can see our soft rock costs us absolutely nothing to dig through. Our harder rock, I can't remember the name, I was just looking at it, is going to cost you $250 to dig through. Your next tier of rock, being this color here, is going to cost you, from memory, it's twice the amount again, so it's going to bring you up to 5 grand before you start getting to your very, very hard rock, which is going to cost you, I don't know, $250, $500, $1,000. So it's going to cost you a lot more money to dig through. On top of that, you're going to notice as you build your way through the base, as you can see, my vault sort of maxed out on space. I can't dig any further. Same with my power plant, so I had to actually make a second power plant over here, over on the other side of the base, because I ran out of room. I could not dig any further into the rock face, and there are going to be some parts of the base, like here, for example, where as I upgrade through the researches, I'm only going to actually get an extra couple of tiles, you know. This one is going to give me a couple of tiles through here. This gives me access straight through here for some reason. So there are going to be certain parts you're going to be able to get 1 or 2 tiles. There's going to be other parts where you get a whole swath of extra free space. All depends on how each individual map's set out. But there is one other research you can definitely get your hands on fairly early. It is a tier 2, but that is the stairs. Unlike Evil Genius 1, Evil Genius 2, you have multi-layers, and unlike, you know, normal people, your Evil Genius has no idea how stairs work or what stairs are. So after you unlock stairs, if you pop them in the right spot, you will get access to drop down some stairs. Oh, that's the wrong spot. Okay, we'll put some stairs there. As you get access to stairs, you can then connect them to different levels, and each level that you connect them to is going to set you back 5 grand. So, you know, plus the cost of digging through whatever tiles they are. Now, I strongly recommend you try and find a single spot, revert, as I have here, that is going to go all the way from one level to the next level, to the next level, to the next level, to try and make your life just a little bit easier. But in saying that, once you get access to stairs, you can then access the basement. Most of the basements have a good amount of free space. Now, in your basement, great spot to put lockers, by the way, great spot to put power plants, by the way, because minions don't really need to access those areas. You're also going to find in a couple of different base types, you are going to find some special areas like gold here, which if you dig it up, is actually going to give you $250 compared to the rock face beside it, which is going to cost you $250 to dig through. So, yeah, something to keep in mind, that when you see the gold, by all means dig for it. It's probably going to pay for itself and the tiles around it. But at the same time, you can then access higher and lower levels potentially and get a little bit more free space. That little bit of extra free space, definitely you want to put in items that you are not going to need access to regularly. Power plant's definitely number one. Anything where minions don't need to spend a lot of time, because as the game is very much tied to keeping the minions happy and making sure all their needs are met. So, you know, food, vitality, smarts, morale, training rooms, all those sorts of things. Anything that minions don't need access to very often, go put on the different layers. Training rooms actually work out fairly well. Anyway, with all that said, this is going to bring us to the end of this little video. This little video going over the 5 basic resources of Evil Genius 2. I hope you guys found it helpful. I definitely hope that you click the subscribe button. You're going to come back for more videos on Evil Genius 2, because I have a whole list of them coming, because I need to thank Rebellion for giving me early access to the game, because I've already played the game a lot. Like, you know, coming up on 100 hours in the game. Anyway, with all that said, I'm going to leave this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you have enjoyed, and I shall see you in the next Evil Lair.